Today's video is going to be an introduction to the Divi Visual Builder. Welcome to Optimize. My name is Ryan Shimana and I am your host and founder of Optimize, and in today's video I will give you an introduction to the Divi Visual Builder. And if you did not know, I love Divi, just absolutely love it. It is making web design so easy and allowing us to customize everything just how we want it, add our custom CSS and all that kind of stuff. It is just great. If you haven't checked it out, please check out Divi because you will be happy you did and your website will look a lot better. But let's get into the video. Let's go into pages. And before we get started, if you like the videos, please remember to like and subscribe. It would mean so much to us. We hope you find value in each and every one of our videos. But we are going to go into, we'll go ahead and go to the home page. So you can just go to visit site, or you can go to your pages and go to any page here. If you click edit, it's going to take you to the back side of the page, but we want to go to the Visual Builder. So we will go to, well, Jose is currently editing his homepage. So he is logged in and he is working on his site right now as I'm shooting the video. That is too funny. So we'll just go to the lawn mowing page here and we will show you the Visual Builder on this site. So that just goes to show you that it is very easy to edit a Divi site. So that's one thing I really like, that our clients can actually do some of this stuff themselves after we build the site. It is a little intensive actually building a site and getting all the spacing right and making sure you have your headers in the right spot and keywords on the page and this and that. But making little small tweaks such as changes to the words and images on the pages is actually very, very simple. You do need to know the process and want to make sure you're doing it right. But so you come to the page and we cannot do anything because we don't have the Visual Builder enabled. So you click right here, enable Visual Builder, and this will allow us to make the edits to our page and see everything as we're doing it. And it just makes it so much easier than trying to do something like if you're coding out a site and you're playing with padding and you're having to refresh and this and that. It just, man, I feel sorry for you. But I do see value in it, and we do still need to do that from time to time. So, you know, it does behoove you to know a little bit of code, even if you are using Divi. You can certainly, you know, make your stuff look even better. But here's a great example of this is only on the, this shows up only on the mobile version of the site. That's why it's like kind of grayed out right here. So you can still edit and everything from here, but this doesn't show on the desktop version. So when we were not logged into the Visual Builder, this didn't show, but now we are, so now it is. And that caused a couple issues when my client started changing some things on his site. He saw duplicate content. It was actually the mobile and desktop version, but he did not know. So that's why I'm making these videos to teach you. So here we go. So basically Divi is made up of rows, sections, and modules. So if we come down here and we click like add a new section, so you can add a regular section, a specialty section, or a full width section. So if you go to regular, you have these options right here. So basically this is going to be a full width row, 2-column row, 3-column, 4-column, and then you can do any combination of this. Divi is coming out with more combinations very soon. So that is standard. So we'll X out of that and we'll add a specialty. So specialty just gives you more customization features. So you can see here, these are basically running the whole length of however long your section ends up being, and then you have these different customizable options in here. So you kind of got to get creative and kind of visualize this stuff. I draw websites out on paper before I put them onto the website, and then looking at it on paper will tell me which kind of configuration I need. If you want a full size type layout on a section, you have some options for those. Okay, so let's delete out of here again. And so basically if you click here, you're adding a new section. If you click right here, well, that's not a good one. not working for me real well. Sometimes it's like overlapping and this and that, but you can just add a new row. So you have section, rows, and modules. So you can add a new row, which would just be in this blue section with these other 2 rows right here. So if you notice, this is light green, this is a global. So I noted this is global, so if I change this here, everywhere this appears on any other page will also be changed. So it makes it very easy to modify your site very quickly, the entire site. So this is global, this is the footer on every page. If I ever make a change here, I don't have to go to every page to make that change. I make it here once and it updates on every page. So here is our little slider thing. It is global also. If we ever need to tweak that, we only do it on one page. Here's more examples of the desktop and mobile versions. So this is on hover. Since you can't hover on a mobile, this is hidden because this looks terrible. And then you just see this, which you can click on and it'll take you to the reviews. These cool blurbs that are to call and to email on the desktop, they're not cool blurbs on mobile, so they're buttons, so they're actually functional. So that's what's up there. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into, like, typically you'll use a regular section. You can actually make regular sections full width, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's just say let's just do something weird here. Let's add a blurb here. Let's add, okay, so I picked the 3 column layout. So I added a blurb module here. I'll add let's say a text module here. And let's say I'll add a button here. And obviously this doesn't look good, but I'm just showing you what you can do. So you just pick, if I wanted to add something below this button, I'll just hover and click add another module and say we add a blurb below that. So you see how this is working. So basically Divi, I like this. They put placeholder images in text for you, so you can kind of see what's happening as you're getting going before you actually add your custom content. I really like it and think it just makes the design process go a little smoother, especially if you're new and don't know what a blurb module is. Well, now you see. I'll add my image here. I'll change my title, blah blah blah. So if you look here, title, title, your text goes here. So you change your title here, it'll change here. You can actually change it right here because Divi's that awesome that you can just literally start changing that here. But we're not going to do that. We're just doing this for demo purposes anyways. So you can change your text right here. If you wanted to link, so if you click on it, it would link to something. You put your URL in here. If you are linking internally, you leave off the beginning of your website and you pick up on this slash after the .com or whatever the ending of your website is. So if I was going to link to this page, lawn services, lawn mowing, I would type lawn services, lawn mowing. That's how you do that. If you want it to open in the same window, do that. If you want to open in a new tab, do that. So same window, it's just they're going to click on it and it's going to take them in this tab to that page. New tab, they're going to go to a new tab, so it'll open the next tab. Image and icon, so this is where you would change your image. You can also use an icon instead. So if you choose image, it's going to take you to the media library where you can pick an image you've already uploaded, or you can upload a new image. If you want to use an icon instead of an image, just click yes and then select whichever icon you want from all these choices. You can get more icons if you want. If you wanted a background, you can do a background, and that's that. So we'll leave that background on there to show you a couple more things. And so design is where you really customize. So content is where you put like the majority of the stuff on the page, the words, the images, icons, stuff like that. Design is where you get in and you tweak it. So you want the icon to be a different color. Bam, change different color. You can pick any color you want right there. Circle icon, so if you want a circle around it, you can do that. You can change the circle color. Say no, we don't want that. Do you want it, the icon on the top or on the left? So different stuff like this. We'll keep it on the top. Font size, so you can change this, make it smaller, make it bigger, and yes, you can go bigger than that if you want. So well, maybe you can't go bigger than that. On a lot of things you can, maybe on icons you can't, or maybe it did and I just didn't notice it. Yep, it did. So voila, you can. So if you want to change something about your text, so we can go centered. So there we go, we're centered. We're on the left, we're on the right, all that kind of stuff. Common sense stuff. Text color. You have way more customization than light and dark, but if you just want to do it real quick right there, you can add shadows behind your letters. That helps if you're putting letters over text or over images, I'm sorry. Title text, so this would change your title text. A note here, make sure you're on the right header style. So this is a H4 tag, I believe. And let's just verify. Yep. So H4, I made it semi-bold. It became semi-bold. If you're on H3, that's not an H3 tag. So it's, well, maybe it is. I don't know. This is a title right here. So I don't know why Divi normally when you're hovering over here, it highlights it over here like this. But okay, so maybe it's H3. Let's go. Is it okay? So you can pick the heading level. There you go. So this is a blurb. You can pick which heading you want that to be. So that's something I just learned making the video. Look at that. So I always kind of wondered why you can't do that. I wish you could just make it a paragraph text, but you could potentially just not put a title here and then just put the title here, and that's that, and then go boom boom, and you have the same effect, but then it'd be paragraph text if you don't want that to actually be a header. So if you are going to have it be a header, you can pick which header you want it to be and then change all your information about it, as far as if you want it to be all caps, the tall and the lowercase. Don't use italic text on your website. Google cannot read it for some reason. So text size, you can change your text size. If you want to go back to the original, you go back to the original. If this goes for a lot of the different settings in Divi. If you want to customize for tablet, desktop, smartphone, you can do that, because sometimes if you have a big image or whatever, or a big headline, and it's in big font on your desktop version, it's going to look terrible on a phone. So spacing is an important one to go over. So margin, think of margin as outside of your area, and think of padding as inside your area. So here is an example right here. So we're outside the area. So by clicking this right here, it's going to make them do the same thing. So if I type in 50 pixels on the top and 50 on the bottom, it put 50 pixels of margin on the top and 50 pixels of margin on the bottom. Okay, what's really cool about Divi is you can do this. So you can see it in real time what the exact pixels is going to do. So I love that feature. Let's go back to normal, and you can do them individually. So if you don't click the link, you're doing it individually. Okay, we'll go back to normal. So once again, margins outside. So left and right would be left and right, and padding is inside. So let's hook them together, and we'll just drag them out. And if you notice, we're getting padding on the top and the bottom. So inside, padding on the top, padding on the bottom. Now maybe this will help clarify it a little bit. Padding on the left, padding on the right. So we're inside the element. So margin is outside, padding is inside. So that's that. If we wanted to say bring this up in overlap, I think that creates a cool effect sometimes. You can just go like this and you'll start to overlap. So when you start doing stuff like this, it does create cool effects. You are going to need to definitely go through and make sure your mobile site looks good, because that is going to really jack some stuff up on the mobile version. Borders can become pretty cool. So you can just add a border like that. So 3 pixels. We don't have a color set or a width actually. So once we set our width, you'll see that border right there. And you can change your color to whatever you want, stuff like that. And change your border style, blah, 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 dash, be dashed. Okay. So you can play around with all that kind of stuff. If you want a box shadow around your whole element, there you go. So that's very similar to the text shadow. Filters, I don't really get into messing around with filters too much, but it's basically, doing this kind of cool stuff with the site. Depending on your site, you might want to do something like that. And you have all these different options. So all that kind of stuff, if you want to get jiggy with that and all your different blend modes, if you're familiar with Photoshop, this stuff probably makes a lot more sense to you than it does to me. If you want to animate it, I don't recommend animating too much using this stuff right here because it just really bogs down your site. But if you want to add animation, I really highly recommend doing CSS, implementing some CSS on your site to get that on there. Your site will run faster, and you have way more options than these couple things to customize with. And yeah, so that's a basic overview right there. If you want to add a CSS ID or class, you do so in the Advanced tab. Customize CSS, so all your different CSS options can go in here. And there's also another place to put CSS in the main Divi module from the dashboard. And then visibility, so this is where you would say, don't show this on the phone, don't show this on tablet, or don't show it on desktop. And that's where you would potentially make like an alternate version, like this replaces this on mobile. So this is the desktop landing page image and buttons, call to action type stuff. And if you're on mobile, you just see this, so it populates properly. And that's that. So for time's sake, I think that got you a crash course on how to do that. And just before we get out of here, just wanted to show you some of the options in here. If you make changes and you're going to save them, you got to click right there on the three dots in the middle and then click save. Some things to note: you have the different view versions, so we're going to tablet, we're going to phone, and all that kind of stuff. I don't mess with any of that stuff over there. If you wanted to download this, you can save this to your library, which would allow you to use this layout on a different page. So a lot of times that comes in very handy. Like for example, if you're building out service pages, you probably want them to be congruent with each other. So you just download that first page you build out, get it exactly how you want it, then replicate it, import it into your other service pages, and then change out the images and the text, but you already have your layout. So that's a real time saver. Let's say right here, let's say we wanted to save this section. Let's get back to the main view. Let's say we wanted to save this entire section, right? Let's just say right here, this one right here. You would click this down right here and layout name, give it a name. If you mark it as global, that is when changes will happen everywhere this appears on your site. So that is useful, and sometimes it's not. So make sure you want something to be global before you mark it as global. A great thing to make global is a footer, for example. Like your footer is going to be the same on every page, and you don't have to use it. So you can, and this is actually not a footer, this is just a module I made. This is a special layout module I made in Divi, and I'm not using widgets as my footer because I feel they're just super limiting to your design options. So I just customized my own footer, I made it global, and if I want to make a change to the footer, it goes to every freaking page that footer's on, and just saves a ton of time. So that's that. Right here is another thing that's very helpful is duplicate. So if you add an image on your page and you're playing with spacing and stuff like that, and say we wanted to get two images, on an image on this side and an image on this side, then we could duplicate, and then just drag them over. Well, we're in a single column layout right here, so we can't do that. But if I had chosen a 3-column layout, I could just drag them out, and that would be that. If I wanted to do that, for example, I'll just show you real quick. Boom, 3, okay, just X out of that, and then I'll duplicate, and then I'll drag it using the move part of the move feature, and then boom, boom, and boom, boom. So that's how it goes. So that is why Divi is awesome, and you know, obviously people are catching on because it seems like everyone's using Divi these days. But I've been using it for a couple years, and I'm getting really slick with it. So I hope that added some value. Just real quick, I'll show you how I created these shapes. So that's going to be in the border. So instead of linking everything together, I put a 50 pixel rounded corner on this corner and this corner, and a 10 pixel rounded corner on this corner and this corner, and you can see that's the shape it creates. So then I swapped it on this. So on this one, this is 50 and this is 10, and vice versa. So that is how you do that. This is a contact form module, image modules, text module. These are blurbs. These are buttons. So you just kind of got to get familiar with the terminology, and then it's off to the races with Divi. So I hope that gave you a crash course on how to use the visual builder. And real quick before I leave, let me show you something. So row settings, this is where you can make any row a full size row. So make this row full width, yes. Okay, you can't tell on this, but if this was a better example, this would have expanded out, but this image is full size and it's in the middle, so nothing changed. But you can mess with all your different stuff. You'll want to mess with gutters when you get into your full width setting, and you can play around with that as you get going. One more thing that I don't have going on this site, but let's say we wanted to make a custom divider on this. We go to the section settings. So in the let's go. So this is the section settings, and then this is going to be the row settings right here. So we got to kind of get familiar with that. And this one's a little funny because they're kind of stacked on top of each other, and it's small, and this is a global section. But you go to dividers, and let's put a divider on the bottom, and we'll make it like this. So that gets you an idea of what it does. You can really create some cool effects with these things. So there's a cool example right there, and you have all different kinds of customization with this stuff. So you know, it's cool. It's really cool. I should probably do this for his site because let's flip that down. Oh man, yeah, the possibilities are endless. So the divider feature is definitely cool, but we're not going to do that right now. And yeah, if you make any changes, don't forget to save. You have some settings here. Boom, boom, boom. Custom CSS. So this will just be CSS for this page specifically. Your time, if you mess something up and you want to go back, as long as you are still loaded in and you haven't refreshed and saved and all that kind of stuff and left the page, you should be able to go back and revert back to whatever you need to revert back to before you made an error or whatever. You can also add stuff from your library here. So this would be a whole layout. Divi comes with a bunch of pre-built layouts that you can just customize to yourself. All the images in these are free to use, so if you actually wanted to use those images, you could. Here are my saved layouts. I built this site on a different domain name and then imported it in to limit downtime on this client site because it was an existing site. This is an important box right here to note. Replace existing content. If you have this checked, it is going to replace whatever is currently on your page. If you have it unchecked like I do now, so that's checked, unchecked, this would just add this to this page. So it would add it to the bottom, and then you can move it around however you want using the move features. So you can move anything. So we can move that up there if we wanted. We can move it back to where it goes, all that kind of stuff. And then you just have to kind of get familiar and remember, you know, how many rows and columns and stuff like that you built. And as you get going, you'll want to really section off your stuff to give yourself a lot of customization and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully that was as quick as I can possibly give you a crash course on the Divi builder, and there's so much more to know about it, but that was a lot. And let me show you one more thing. This is the image module right here. So even if this had an alt tag in the media library, it's not going to show up in Divi or Google for that matter. So put your alt text in here and your title in here if you want Google to find it, which you do. So make sure you do that. That is one of the things that I really don't like about Divi, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, even with a bunch of pictures on the site, it might take an hour to go through and update all that stuff. So that is officially it. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and we are here to help in any way we possibly can. Please reach out to us if you are in need of someone to do some website work for you. I personally feel like you should be focusing on running and growing your business, and hire someone like us to handle your marketing, and we will get you way more leads than you can possibly ever generate on your own doing this by yourself, and your time is better spent growing your business anyways. But until the next video, take her easy.